Okay, so, okay, just a preview of coming attractions. I want you to remember, okay, this is talking about the unique, the unique word that you believe that's in your soul. Okay, testing of your faith. That's the word in you. It is being tested. It produces the endurance. It's the producer. It's the one making the fruit. Okay, and then we saw anarthros, ergon. That means that they're translating here result, but it should be translated work. Alright? Just like the KJV does it. KJV translates this work, and KJV is right. Ergon means divine quality work. So look at this. And let endurance have its divine quality completing work. You'd have to put the word divine right there in order to get the distinction in English. Okay? The testing of your divine faith, the testing, and then let endurance have its divine result, divine work. Okay? Then you got wisdom, which is also from God, so that's an arthros right there. Okay? Then you got in faith, that's also talking about in the Word. Alright, so that's an arthros. See all the stress on an arthros? Look at that. Okay, it's light blue here for unique. Okay, but look at all this gold. That's an arthros, an arthros, an arthros. He's stressing the godness, the divine quality. And then he stops and changes this to tu kuriou. Okay, the Lord. Oh, I should have made that blue. Okay, the Lord. Okay, meaning he's one of a kind. All right, but see how this is stressing the uniqueness. This is stressing the divine quality, and look at how the stress is on these gold, tan, whatever you want to call them, words. All right, this is very sarcastic. Double-minded man. That aner is the word for nobleman, and he's calling that nobleman double-minded. In other words, the guy imagines himself to be noble. That's really very pointed. Okay. But I digress. Okay, here is hoadelphos. Okay, the brother. Normal use of the definite article is here. Alright, typically speaking, you have to front everything with a definite article. Alright, so we see little sprinklings of the definite article. I didn't highlight them all. I mean, there's really, here's a definite article, and here's a definite article, and here's a definite article. So it's all over the place, but I just highlighted some of them so you could see the contrast. Okay, I'm going to skip over that because that's also sarcastic. Actually, he's making a comparison between the guy who imagines himself noble in James 1:18 versus the guy who's really noble. Because why? Because he's persevering and he's being tested in the Word, okay, under trial. And then he's a true nobleman, so he's begging the question. Okay, we see here again, teu all by itself without the article. That's stressing godness, being divine. God is divine. Okay, again. Alright. Then here we have your typical use of the definite article. And here we have sin without the article, so it's stressing how bad sin is. Okay, giving birth to sin. Alright, here's your typical use of sin in the article. Now, see, this is what I'm setting up here. Look. Here sin is in the accusative case without the article. He gives birth to sin. It's originating. Okay? You're creating your own sins. Nobody's creating it for you. It's not, the devil made you do it. You did it. Okay? This is the typical use of the word sin. Hey, in front of hamartia. The da is post-positive, so that's why it's stuck in the middle there. Okay? So the sin is reference to the sin that you just committed, that you created. You created it. You gave birth to it. And so now the sin that you gave birth to is referenced as a normal thing. Okay? So he's playing with the origination as if you were God. You're giving birth to sin. You're originating it. Because remember, God is the originator. So you're playing God here by originating your own sin. You see the humor? You see how much it matters to know that there's no article here? I mean, you can't translate that in English. You just have to know the rules. Oh, it's hamartian by itself. Yeah, I'm playing God by sinning. I gave birth to sin. Oh boy. Man is playing God by giving birth to sin. Alright? And now we come down here and we see that, to patros ton photon. Okay, that means father of lights. I forgot to highlight that. Father of lights. That's an official title for God the Father. So that's why it's got two definite articles. And then here we have another contrast. Look at this. Logoi, which we covered before, aletheos, word of truth. That's an arthros. That means divine word. Okay? Versus, okay, to, which refers to aparkein, first fruits. Alright, now you could call it, but it's really not. You could try to call it monadic, but it really isn't because there are many of us. So, we're unique and yet we're not unique. So play with that if you want. But notice the contrast between the divine quality of the Word, which brings us forth to become first fruits. Alright, so notice that parallel. Here you're playing God and creating sin. Here the divine Word is creating you. See? And you can't know that meaning if you don't know the rule about leaving out the definite article. You see? It gets really dramatic as we go forward. Because look at here. And this is a pretty typical use. The kaiosuneteu. Both of those should have definite articles in front of them and don't. Alright, so that's divine righteousness right there. Oops. Achieve the righteousness of God. I should have. There we go. Now it's fixed. And here again we talked about ton and phuton. That's monadic. Okay? And logon can be considered to be an arthros even though it's really not. I mean, this is supposed to modify both of them. But he's making a play there by putting phuton in front of it. Okay, that's what makes it divine quality or monadic. Alright, and we covered that already. But now we're getting into, see, doers of the word, an arthros, the word, the divine word. Okay, notice how he's doing that. Doers of the word, divine word. See, look at all this. Okay, this is a consistency going on here. An arthros, an arthros, an arthros, an arthros here, an arthros here. Okay, be a doer of the word. Now, in order to be a doer of the divine word, obviously the divine God has to make that happen in you. You get that? That's why it saves your soul. Because the word is changing your soul. Okay, so that's the stress he's putting on. I mean, he mentions it over and over again. Look, logo aletheos, he brings you forth. Okay, so that saves your soul. Okay, again, logon there. Okay, again, logo. I mean, he's stressing word in you, word in you, word in you, word in you. Hey, pistis, word in you. All right, and then he's stressing it again. You're a doer of the word if God's doing the word in you. See that? Okay. Now he talks about the law, and that's another synonym for the word, and therefore it's an arthros too. Okay, and this anarthros produces, it's translated effectual here, but that's not really right. This is a doer of work, just like the KJV happens to have gotten this a lot right. Okay? Ergo, no definite article. There should be one there. So it's talking about divine works, divine doer. So if you had any doubt about whether the doer was you or God, this wipes it out, baby. Ergo. So it's like doer of divine work. Well, how can you be a doer of divine work unless God's doing it to you? Okay? And Naaman means the law. Okay, well, that's God's law in you. And what do? What do you actually do? You look intently and you don't forget. You're just looking at the law. That's all you're doing. Well, that makes you an effectual doer of divine work. So divine work is accomplished if you look at the word and abide in it. Well, how are you going to abide in it if you don't believe it? So what you do is believe, and then what God does is God's work is accomplished because He does it. Because He makes that believed word actually change your soul. Remember? Save your soul. Change it from what it is now.